Tie.
Hey.
No hair. No tie. Hi. Good morning. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Germar, Derron, and this is the Agent Carter After Show. We are now doing this live, so get online, join the conversations, get your friends here. I am one of your hosts. To my left is one of your co-hosts, the best name in the business, Becca Scott.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
And if you heard me earlier, the always tied, not as in tied up, but like with a tie, this is Kyle Wallen.
Hi.
So we just had another amazing episode of Agent Carter, and that's what we're going to be talking about, of course, today. Leviathan, Russians, we'll get to all of that. It was an amazing, kind of tense, twisting, all sorts of things happened. But first, let's bring it down a little bit, and let's start at the beginning of the episode with kind of a personal little touch. What's going on? What do we think about this impenetrable boarding house? This sort of personal life of Peggy Carter. How is that going to play into the show? Does it play into the show?
Oh, I love this prison of a boarding house. I don't know, there's just something so sexy about sneaking men in the window up the drain pipe. And I love that the woman who runs it referred to it as Alcatraz. It sounds so dangerous, and I'm sure it will develop into plot lines of Peggy sneaking out in the middle of all hours of the night to go do detective-y things. So we'll see where that goes.
I'm sure it'll develop a whole lot of comic relief, and I could see there at one point being a moment where like one of her agents wants to come talk to her, but he can't go upstairs, and he is so like bewildered by the lady that runs it that she just like makes him turn tail and like run away.
All right, let's stay here though. Like, do you think that this is going to be like very interesting though? Is it something that we need? Do we want to see this personal life? Is it going to add to it, make her character, I don't know, more rounded or 3 or 4 dimensional or something?
Well, I mean, it's definitely interesting to see how Peggy interacts with other women, and it's so interesting to me to see that this was totally normal for the time period, for women to just be groomed until they were ready for marriage and do jobs as ballerinas or waitresses until that happens,
right, yeah.
Which is so against everything that is right and godly, but
well, I mean,
never
mind. We're not going to go there right now.
Yeah, fair. Not that show.
I mean, I feel like my prediction is that it'll be comic relief, it'll be interesting, it'll be funny. I don't necessarily see a whole lot of like really hard plot lines coming out of it, but it'll be, you can't have all spy kicking ass all the time,
Fair. And I won't stay here too long, I promise. We got good stuff to get to. But do you see Peggy bringing some of her like feminist fight to this world? Like, will she ever stand up? It looks like she had a little hint in the show tonight. Just a little bit of like, when she said like, nothing's impenetrable. That could go a couple of ways. Like, she's a spy, so she can do all kind of crazy things, but also like, this wall is going to crumble. I don't know, maybe that's a stretch or
no, like a bigger metaphor for her. Like in the first episode, she's realized that she can't be close to people because it's too dangerous. So maybe this is kind of a parallel for her life, not letting people in.
I think
not letting romance in.
That sort of feminist change is so unheard of that her default is just to change things subversively by being a feminist within herself, but to project that to the outside world is kind of almost impossible in this time period. So I don't know that we will see her go against what is established in this boarding
It's like
house.
too progressive for the time period. She just being herself is the progressive thing. This isn't going to be like a message show like, hey, this is what it should have been in the 40s. That's not happening.
But I'm glad too. I feel like the show would suffer. Like that's not what it's about, and that's what makes it good.
It's
Yeah,
fun.
it's true to
it's
the
Marvel.
period,
Yeah,
and that's why
it's
so rich, and that's why it's so angering, but also it's so much more powerful to watch her secretly go against all that.
Well, I think that's also, I don't want to come off wrong. Like, it's not that I don't believe in like equality and stuff, but I feel like this is actually the best thing for. Because I was like, oh, but good thing it's not some sort of dumb feminist show. But no, I feel like but it is actually doing a lot better than a lot of other shows would do if they beat you with the head with it. It's
Right,
not.
right, I understand.
This is a show that doesn't have to be some sort of statement show. People will watch a show that has a strong female character just because it's a good show and America is ready for a female.
We learned that from Mad Men. I mean, not having a female lead, that's definitely something that this show is doing different. That is so awesome. But we learned that people will accept that this is a time period we can say these things and we're offended by them slightly, but let it slide. So
Yeah, I promise we wouldn't stay on this too long. Maybe we stayed on it too long. So I'll move on now. But thank you for humoring me. Jarvis came up a little bit last week. It's been a buzz all over the internet, like, what's his deal? Is he more than just a butler? Does he have a wife? Who's his wife? So we got a lot of those questions answered tonight.
I still don't believe in the wife. The wife is not real. She's a figment of his imagination, as far as I'm concerned.
Do you really think that?
I really, really think that. Why won't they show her to us?
There's a big reason why they're not showing her to us, and I feel like that could be he is attached, he can't let her go, or something like that. I really think that could be a definite possibility.
Maybe she's just like horribly bedridden and can't leave the house, or just like fear of windows. Who knows?
Well, we heard a voice. So when we heard that voice, you think that there's a chance, Becca, that this was in his head.
But the only
We've all
person
seen
that
Psycho,
hears
okay,
the voice
a
is
man-
Jarvis. No one else hears the voice but
That's
Jarvis.
fair. Nobody else in the show.
Exactly.
I mean, we heard. Maybe we're crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, did you hear the voice? Is it like,
Oh my God.
Is it just
Was it just
us?
us? Yeah,
Maybe.
until someone else hears the voice, either in the show or as viewers, I don't believe in her.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with Becca.
Neither of you believe that the wife exists.
I think she existed. I think she probably died.
Oh, now that is good. That's really interesting.
And
because he
is.
definitely has some serious feelings about this woman, whether she exists or not. If you mention her, it's very one of those things like, don't talk about her.
That's why he
wife.
immediately jumps on the defense. Yeah. So.
Oh my
I
gosh,
have not-
we stumbled on something
We just
here.
blew it up right here on this
Wow.
show.
I thought we were talking
You heard
about
it
it
here
earlier,
first
no.
on theStream.tv, Agent Carter after show with Jamar, Becca, and Kyle. We just
mainly-
blew the whole season.
Mainly
There you
Kyle
go.
did.
Spoiler alert,
Mainly Kyle.
she's dead,
We
and
should
that's
be
why he's
writing
so...
this. Why aren't we writing this?
We should. Maybe somebody
I mean-
talk to somebody. You know someone, right? I don't know anybody that matters.
I don't know.
At all.
I know not a single person.
I just know my mom, actually.
I don't even
and
know my mom.
She's not here.
Am I spoiling a future topic if we talk about the treason?
No, that's not.
Okay.
That's not a spoiler.
So Jarvis treason, this whole big thing we didn't know about, which ended up not being such a big thing after all. I mean, it is, but not like some big war crime. It was for love, and so that gives us a little insight. We already knew how much he loved his wife, but now we know a little more the lengths to which he will go for love.
It's fair.
Which was nice. I thought because they're really setting it up where we want to know so much more about him because he's so reserved and there's clearly something else going on. They're just giving these little tidbits here and there and stuff, and I thought that was a really nice touch.
I agree. He's like a very mysterious character. He's obviously an important character. We do know now that he has this Army background for sure. Discharge, Howard Help, whatever. A deep character with a lot going on. He obviously isn't scared to do anything, to step up. You know, he's there backing Peggy up, whether or not he has skills or whether or not he can hand-to-hand combat.
Hey, if Howard Stark is hiring you to be his go-to man, you've got to have a lot of skills and a lot of personality.
Did you catch that comment where he got in the back of the cop car, wherever he goes, like pretty good to like be getting in the back of the car.
this'll be
first, 'cause, you know,
novel.
he's always
Yeah.
there. That was cute. That was really funny.
Nice line.
I like him a lot. I do want to remind our viewers right now, please do join the conversation. Get in there on Twitter. You can tweet us at hashtag Agent Carter AS as an
Do
after
it.
show. It's pretty easy.
Tweet us.
Also, YouTube comments. You can contact any of us at our own handles. They're up there in those lower thirds. You can see that.
Personally.
Contact us all week long. Let's move on to the next topic, though, which is, I'm going to look down at this iPad. Oh, it's the one I really want to talk about. This is something I got to calm down for, but it's
Yeah?
something
Get
I'm
riled?
really excited
You
for.
riled?
So, last week, we weren't sure about Leviathan. I know I said that, like, who's Leviathan? I know a lot about Marvel. I know about these agencies and these different groups, and I never heard of it. So all of you got in the comments on YouTube, and you let us know that Leviathan is kind of like the Soviet-Russian equivalent of Hydra. Like what Hydra is to Germany and the Nazis, that's what Leviathan is into USSR.
Now
Russia.
we know.
So now we know that, and that's really cool, and that obviously plays a lot into this show. But also, what we know in this universe is that we have the Winter Soldier, who's like a Russian project. We just saw that movie.
Russian.
Also Russia. We know that, what is it, Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow, Russian. That's how she knows about the Winter Soldier. And now we know that this dude, he had like a Russian tattoo on his chest. So Russia, what's going on? What are we gonna see? Are we gonna see the Winter Soldier? What's happening here? You have any ideas?
I really hope we get to see the Winter Soldier. I think it would be awesome to see the very, very, very beginnings of like when he becomes the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that's.
Awesome.
I think all of us were talking about who in the Marvel universe are we going to see in this show. Obviously, gotta have Winter Soldier so tied in to this Captain America, Agent Carter storyline, and it's this time period. I mean, he must have been doing something.
Definitely.
So.
I mean, he was always what, I don't know if you call that a sleeper agent, but he was like an asleep agent, and they would like wake him, and he'd go kill people, and he'd like disappear and come back. Apparently, maybe.
I think that's exactly what a sleeper agent is.
Oh, that's what a sleeper agent is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then maybe he is. I love him personally. He's one of my favorite characters just because he's so bad. They did a great job in that movie, the Winter Soldier movie.
Oh, yeah.
I prefer him to Captain America, partially just because, I don't know, red, white, and blue with the shield. And he's got
Too
the metal
patriotic for
arm. I don't want to say, it's not like that. It's just a little bit, just tone it down. Just
get
wear
it.
like a leather jacket.
I was an anarchist when I was a teenager.
That's fair. And I
get
am
it.
still like a teen rebel at heart, I think. So I'm looking forward to that. And if we did see him, like let's just say we do in some crazy, awesome world that I would love to live in, let's say we do see the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
What do you think we might see him, like what might his role be? Like you were saying, kind of like he's just becoming himself. Maybe they're working on it.
Well, it'd be interesting because Peggy should recognize him as Bucky.
Oh, it's Bucky.
Oh.
So she should see him and be
right.
like, whoa, what's going on? What's up with your Russian metal arm? Why are you trying to kill me? Like, I think it could be really, really cool. It could be really
because
dramatic.
he comes now, there are people that would recognize him.
Yeah.
You know, as long as his face isn't covered and all that stuff. But
Yeah. Oh,
that is
yeah.
something
Ooh, wow.
to think about.
It'd be really cool.
Who
yeah.
knows? Cool.
This was a. Should I jump in? No, I'm not gonna jump in. Let's
Jump
go
in,
ahead.
jump in.
No, yes, no. Let's
Okay.
save it. Let's save it.
Save
That's
it.
like the best
Save
part
it.
of the show.
Fine,
We'll save
I
it.
don't
We'll
know.
save it for next week. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. We're not doing that. Right now, what I do want to talk about is in this episode today, there was this weird part where Peggy, she was on the boat with Jarvis, right?
On the
and
boat.
they're trying to figure out what they're gonna do with all of Howard Stark's
Yes.
crazy gear and the guy she knocked over the head and he's like laid out. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go to the boys and I'll tell them, they'll understand.
No. Peggy, come on. Don't you know by now? They don't trust you. They're not going to let credit go where credit is due. They're going to screw you over. They're going to probably put you in jail or like, who knows?
Whatever they do.
Well, the
right?
biggest thing there, Jarvis's point was like, if you call them in, like, you're gonna have to explain yourself, and it's gonna look like you're conspirating with a traitor right now, which is obviously not gonna look good for you.
Yeah, I like that scene where he just automatically was ready to grill her with those questions. You know, he was on it. I thought that was an interesting back and forth, and I like the way that scene was written. On a technical note.
No, absolutely. It's interesting to see because she isn't this superhuman perfect agent.
agree with
you know?
that.
And that was really cool. It makes her interesting. She got so excited and so into it. She needed a little someone to Jarvis to cut her down. a
And
little
I
bit,
think
you know?
as a female lead, there is so much more sensitivity than if this were, flipped and this were a show about a guy. Like, there is so much sensitivity that you see, even though we know Peggy's a hard ass. We know she's super cool and can, kick a lot of people's asses. But yeah, there is a lot more, trustingness that comes with being a woman. Maybe.
Interesting.
For me, at least. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think that's a part
I've
of
never
it.
been a woman, so I actually don't know if that's true or not.
Try it.
I would if I could. Maybe I can.
We're in Hollywood, baby.
Anything's possible. No, well, I don't know. So a little too trusting, maybe. It's interesting, and we'll see. You think this might be something that continues throughout the season, whether there will be actual trust there, or whether she'll realize like, I'm not one of them, and I'm never going to be one of them. If you had to pick a route, which way would you go with that?
Well, I think what they're trying to do is set up that she's very hard and that she's not trusting Angie or not trusting, people she's close to with all of the information she has. So I think there's going to have to be a point where she softens socially in some respect, but we know that she's guarded because her boyfriend died. That's kind of a big
Yeah,
deal.
that is a big deal.
So I think part of this season is going to be about breaking that down.
Agreed.
All right, cool. Let's
Fine, took
move
points.
on. Since Kyle has no opinion, I'm just kidding. He totally agrees. I see that look in your eyes,
should let him
honest,
talk
like,
first.
wow, you just took, that was my thing. Why'd you take my
job.
thing?
Good job.
And you guys
We
don't know
share
this, but
one
earlier we talked about this a little bit. She did take all of his answers, like right from his pad. It's
Yeah,
like,
I had all these
Stole
notes.
it.
and then
I stole
Peggy-
the notebook, and I don't feel guilty. I
No,
don't.
It's good. You shouldn't. It's all fun. We're
We
having
had a
fun.
fight scene like in the boat, and she beat me up, and
We reenacted. Yeah.
Yeah.
did.
Change your name to Peggy. So I think maybe our final topic of the things that we talked about, and something that I don't even know what I would say about this, but there's this mysterious guy. He wears a hat. We saw him earlier. This hat just came into frame. It was just
Only
kind of
just
the hat.
a little bit of
Just
him.
a little bit of hat. We were, who's that hat? Who's the guy in the hat?
clearly a
Who's
nefarious
that
hat, though.
guy?
And then he comes in at the end and murders everyone. Like
Oh, right. Yeah,
with,
no
with
big
a
deal.
silencer. Like really,
he
really
was ready
advanced
to
stuff.
do
And
that.
that's some primo technology in 46?
46? Yeah.
I'm guessing that
Maybe
not
it's some
everybody
Stark
has silencer.
technology. I don't know. With the chooch, chooch. Yeah.
Is
So
it?
who is this guy? I mean, my guess is he's an agent of Leviathan, but we know he killed the good guy, he killed the bad guy.
Well, he killed the good guy, and he killed like a witness or like a lower level kind of crony who was a liability at that point.
You made me just think of something. What if it is Howard Stark? Just to play devil's advocate, what if Howard Stark couldn't let anybody know that this crony was actually working for him? He stole his own stuff. He was gonna ship it off. I don't know.
It's interesting.
That never crossed my mind.
I don't think it would be Howard himself with the gun, but it could have been someone that Howard.
Oh,
Well,
man.
yeah,
well-
obviously. He's not gonna do his own dirty
yeah,
work.
yeah.
No, I don't
Come
even
on.
like wash my own dishes, so no, I'm not killing anyone. I feel like me and Howard have a
Who
lot in
washes your
common.
dishes?
I don't know, the maid. I don't know. I
Okay.
just eat.
Sure.
I don't know who cooks my food. But I don't think that that's the case. Only because I hope they keep Howard clean, like he's a good guy. Like,
Next episode spoiler speaks
yeah.
differently.
I know. We saw
I
that.
don't know
didn't
if we can
I
mention
don't like
that,
watching
but
spoilers.
I did.
But I actually hope it's true. I would love that if he's a terrible person, because he killed the good guy was killed. Like the agent was killed.
Yeah, good guy is a relative term. I mean, he had a wife and a girlfriend and was snappy to Peggy, so
Wife and
So
a
shoot him in the
girlfriend.
face.
just saying.
I totally
I
agree
mean,
with that.
respect
Wife and a
women.
girlfriend, that's the level. Wife and
penalty.
girlfriend, shot in the
penalty,
face.
yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Just saying.
I think that's going to be it for us for right now. Please come back. We're going to take a little break, and we'll come back with fan questions.
Fan questions.
Fan question dance. Fan question dance.
Great tonight. Now you still have time to get in all your live questions, so thanks again to all you joining us in the YouTube chat. Make sure to just submit your questions right there in the chat, and one of our producers will hopefully pick one and feature it here in a few minutes. But it doesn't have to stop there. Keep the conversation going throughout the week. Submit your theories, your questions, everything. Use that hashtag #AgentCarterAS, and we'll feature them in the show. So, without further ado, here's a slight little commercial break, and then back to Agent Carter. So, thanks for sticking around.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
Just in case you missed it live.
Oh, just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live, I'm doing something right now.
So we're all super excited. This is dancing.
So what would that be, like a 7?
I cannot. I literally cannot. You guys have got to get it together.
Don't hate the player, don't hate the game. Hate the contract you didn't get.
He's like Howard. He's a giant chicken shit.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's going to be like hurricane. Whoa.
Watch out for those girls. They are gagging them.
Hold the phone,
Hold on.
bro.
The more brutal you are, the more power you have.
Right.
That was sexy, it was hot, it was heated, I was into it.
You are going to be the most high-paid hooker in the world.
Go ahead and invite your friends and everybody. Tell your mama. Tell her, go ahead and turn the stove off and get up on the computer so we can get on the stream.tv.
Thank you again for joining us, and until next week, bye-bye.
And we are back. Are you back? Are you still there? I hope so, because we're back with your fan questions. And by the way, you do know that you can subscribe on YouTube. It's really cool. I subscribe to all the things I like, including this show.
I heard there was a button for it.
Yeah, there's a button. I wish I knew, but yeah, find it. It's like red, I think. Subscribe. You'll get all this content. We'll email it to you, all that sort of stuff. So let's get into these fan questions. We just got this one from DBZ Fan 009. Do you think Hydra is backing Leviathan?
Ooh.
Oh man.
What if they're not backing them? What if they're in competition?
It's an interesting question regardless. That's.
What do you think?
Ooh, what do I think? So, in the world of comics, all the bad guys at some point like to work together. That happens.
Team ups.
Always happens. Team ups. Yeah. The bad guys, they have to. That's the only way they can beat the good guys. So that isn't crazy or out there. But then I also think back to this kind of World War II world, and Russia and Germany didn't get along, and Hydra was kind of with the Nazis. So in that way, I kind of feel like, no, they're in competition. They're like equally evil groups that are kind of doing the same thing. And very similar things with the like, let's get these scientific gadgets and let's do evil stuff.
If they did team up, they'd get a lot further, and they should think about that.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
Someone should tell Hydra that.
I think we are all like evil-minded people. It seems like this entire episode we've been kind of, this is what you should do, bad guys.
I didn't even notice I said something evil. It just,
we'll talk about it after.
Happens naturally.
We'll talk about it tomorrow or something. We have another question here from Hector is funny. Is it likely that Agent Daniel Souza will be revealed as having been saved by Captain America during the war? And that means he'll eventually marry Peggy, as mentioned in Captain America Winter Soldier, ?
Wow, somebody knows a lot about Marvel.
Yeah, Hector.
Okay, Hector.
So what do we think?
Rephrase the question one more time.
All right, so I'll try to shorten it. That was a lot of stuff. So in Winter Soldier, I guess Peggy, she's really old and she's talking to Cap. Yeah. And she basically says like, you know what, you died, but I found this other guy who actually kind of worked with you in the war. We had a great life together. Is Daniel Souza that guy?
I think it's very likely that he's that guy. They're certainly setting him up to be that way.
Of course he's that guy.
Right.
Yeah, totally. He's got, I mean, when you see a guy who's the only guy in the office that's nice to her, and he has this aluminum crutch, of course we're going to fall in love with him, and so is she, because he's vulnerable.
And they brought it up in this episode where, ooh, the guy who is now deceased, he says basically, yeah, it's not going to happen. She went from a red, white, and blue shield to an aluminum crutch. Forget about it. The only thing I can see them doing, it's obvious that they're going to be together. Like, he's always been sweet on her in 40s terms, or is that 50s or 60s, whatever, I'm not that old. But maybe they do a little twistaroo and it doesn't happen. I think yes, but it's so obvious, maybe they go in a different direction.
What do you think, Control Room? Aren't they going to fall madly in love?
Hey, you guys didn't know we can do that. We can do that. We can just throw it to the control room. They have to be ready for that.
What else we got?
Okay, let's go to another question. Sorry. Another, from Bam Smack Pal writer Christina Roberts. What other cool pre-shield gadgets will we get in upcoming episodes? She's also referencing the lipstick that knocks people out was cool. And what about appearances from some of the weapons Triplet had from his grandfather? Ooh, Howling Commando
we just
ties.
stumbled across a huge, all these start gadgets. The one, the bodily destroyer muscle locator 5000, whatever it was.
The terrible back massager, right?
So hopefully we'll be seeing a lot of those, because I'm hoping she held on. I think I would keep that thing if I found the evil back massager.
Oh yeah. Well, I think what was so cool about the lipstick was it was very creative. You know, it was hidden within something that is not at all suspicious for this woman to have in her purse. So
kind of a classic spy gadget.
That's why I loved it. Also, where did she get that lipstick? Because obviously this is not standard issue from SSR. Right. Did she make it herself? Does she have a secret supplier?
Right.
Ooh, I've stumbled on.
Maybe all the guys walk around with poisonous lipstick, and they're just too embarrassed to pull it out.
Yeah.
I think we will see more stuff. I can't think of any specific example from the Marvel Universe, but I think more spy era. That's what they did. It'll be a lot of we saw the watch. There'll be a lot of I don't know, phones or just things like Inspector Gadgety objects.
Yeah, when we saw the razor blade transmitter and Jarvis's car phone, so there's clearly going to be some
always
cool
be that kind of
and
stuff.
there's so much fun to be had. I mean, that's why, not that this is steampunk, but the steampunk genre takes off is combining technology with old. It's just such a fun fusion that people want to see that, and so do we.
Absolutely.
I agree. All right, another question. Another fan question from @ActorPat. Do you think they might tie in a young kid version of Michael Douglas's Hank Pym from Ant-Man?
I think absolutely. I'm going to go on the books right now and say that's definitely going to happen. That's so cool. Because they already tied in the Ant-Man trailer with the pilot. They're going to be doing some sort of tie-in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they have this character that they're trying to, pump up people for the movie. So obviously, if they can't tie him in, the people in Marvel are going to do it.
Absolutely, yeah.
The only, pushback or devil's advocate, I thought initially, yes, he's going to be there. I even thought we'd see him as teen or something, maybe even working with Howard Stark. But then, just like we have those other questions about baby Tony Stark and all that stuff, I started doing the math. And math-wise, just guessing that he's 60 or something in Ant-Man, he's just born. So he really would be a baby. unless they do something weird or Ant-Man isn't actually in today's world like the movie that's coming out, Ant-Man is really like 10, 20 years ago. Because if they do the math right, then literally he'll be born this season.
I'm
I
glad
guess
someone
it
did his
depends
research.
on how precise they're going to be with his age. And stuff
Yeah,
like that.
it's really weird. Also, like Howard Stark, they're gonna have to maybe do some kind of like Lazarus Pit, and I know that's DC, but like aging Fountain of Youth thing, because this dude's here for the full thing and working with different people. I mean, he's gonna have Tony when he's how old, we think? Maybe 50? I know a man can do it, I know. 60, 70, but anyway.
If there's a man that can do it, it's probably Howard Stark.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I have one quick question. This isn't from a fan, this is personal. I don't even know if I'm allowed to do this, but that's what I do. Very quickly, if you had to choose one, which one and why? Agent Peggy Carter or the Black Widow? Like, just for whatever. In your personal mission, your personal life, you're gonna date her.
Peggy Carter all the way.
Hands
I
down?
just love her strength because Black Widow, she kind of grew up. She had no other option. This is what you do. You know, she was an orphan, right? And she had to become this thing. But I don't know, Peggy had so much else against her. And she has a lot of heart, you know?
Yeah, I feel like there'd be more of a person there. You know, I could hang out with Peggy Carter. I don't think I'd hang out with Black Widow. I don't know if I could watch movies with Black Widow.
I think I would much rather be Black Widow.
Interesting, very interesting, especially coming from the woman on the panel. That's very interesting. I don't know if I have an answer for that. I've thought about it a lot since this show started. They're just totally different time periods. I'm gonna go with Peggy Carter because she did it without all of the advantages of the future. So she doesn't have all the tech. She doesn't have electronic gauntlets on her wrist. She doesn't have the training and the knowledge of the past. So I'm just gonna say that she did it with like just some old school fisticuffs. So that's why I'm gonna choose Peggy Carter.
Yeah, that's true. But Black Widow is a much more skilled fighter, and you know, I just love when a woman can really just murder with her bare hands. Like
I mean, we
that.
saw Agent Carter doing Christopher Crockett just coined this term on Twitter, Carterizing people.
I get it.
It's pretty awesome. She kicks a lot of ass.
That's
too.
a pun.
She
I don't know if people
carterizes.
got that. So before we get out of here, we definitely have some shout outs to you guys, to all the fans. Please do stay in those comment sections. Please do tweet at us, Agent Carter AS, hashtag. So here we go. Twitter shout outs at Shield Radio, at iHeart Colson, at Agent Carter News, at Shield Fans, at Bam Smack Pow, and then I have no less than 800 other shout outs. Are you guys ready? I will try not to ruin these names. Here we go. Juan Antonio Munoz Sepulveda. Is that Spice Mug? Maybe Spice Mag. Seth Torres, TPR 38655. Molly Smith.
Woo.
Ronnie Shama? Forever Johnny
Hey,
Boy.
Ronnie.
Buck Puns. DBZ Fan 009. Mr. Gaming Guitarist. Poe_the_Jedi. Zach Eubank. Dunmer Champ. Ty Blinger. Naughty Ned 6. Dennis DePlane. And Delanto Green.
Delanto.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for watching.
much. Dude, thank you for watching. Please do subscribe. Remember, hashtag Agent Carter AS. Again, I'm one of your co-hosts, Germar Derron.
I'm Becca Scott.
I'm the Kyle Wallen.
The Kyle Wallen. Thank you. We'll see you next week for another amazing episode. Good night.
Agent Carter.
Back on me? No, Germar. No. Black Widow all day, dude. Gotta go with Black Widow. That ScarJo. Anyway, thanks again for joining us in the chat tonight, guys, and sending us your questions and all that good stuff. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for Arrow After Show. We're coming back after a few weeks sabbatical, so make sure to tune in at 9 p.m. Pacific time for that. And again, just keep submitting all your theories, your questions, your thoughts, your comments, all throughout the week, and we'll try to feature them in next week's show. So, from here at theStream.tv, I'm Kellen. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next week.